Happy Sunday there, beach bums. This is Hottie with the Beach Life, and this is another episode of our Carnival Cruise Talk. It seems like Sundays have just kind of been the day. Not every Sunday. Hang on one second. I turned down my volume over here. Um, Obviously, not every Sunday, but whenever I can, I try to come on here and just have these little episodes or live streams where we could just chit chat about all things Carnival cruising. Most of the time, it's centered around the Carnival Radiance, which is the ship that I mainly cruise on, and a lot of it's centered on the Long Beach cruise port, which again is the one that I typically cruise out of. This week is a little unique because I'm actually going to be cruising out of a different port and on a different ship this coming week. So we'll talk about that a little bit here as we wait for everybody to come in. So I'll just kind of wait as we wait for everybody to get in here, and we'll start talking about some of the things. The other things I wanted to talk about is things to do before your trip. I know I kind of did this in an episode back, but I thought it'd be a good opportunity to do this again. What's going on, Dina and Lindy Lou and Shay? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate y'all. And Ashley, welcome in. Ashley, that is next week. And actually, one of the things I'll be talking about is the Carnival Horizon group cruise that will be going on. And yeah, so that's going to be a fun cruise. So again, thank you. Welcome in to everybody that's here. Tony G, hey, welcome in. You just got off a cruise, right? You were just on the Radiance, so it'd be nice to be able to hear your firsthand feedback from more recent cruise. Sharita King, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. So yeah, as people are just kind of starting to pour in here a little bit. Again, I wanted to. I did this it's been a little while, so it's probably a good idea. And I didn't even get to go through the whole list just because there were so many questions and activity, which is great. That's what we want. But there are just things of tips and ideas of things that we will talk about, like to do before the trip, on embarkation day, some carry-on items that you want to make sure you have, things to bring in general, all kinds of stuff going on here. So I have all of my notes over here off to the side. We'll kind of get to those. Hey, Kathy, I see you there. Welcome in. Thanks for being here. So we'll, again, just kind of give a few minutes here. So for those of you that are watching on the replay, I apologize. Kind of bear with me here if you want to fast forward here a little bit. And that's okay as well. For those of you that are new to my channel, again, I've been doing the cruise vlogs for a short period of time, short compared to, I guess, a lot other larger channels and stuff like that. I started cruising first time back in 1999 on the Carnival, and then there's a gap and this and that. But all in all, for the cruise vlogging sense of it, I started my first cruise vlog was the Carnival Panorama, which was last year of October of 2021. So I have some cruise vlogs from that cruise, and then I've been cruising on the Carnival Radiance basically every month except for this last one in July. I've been on the Carnival Radiance. And actually, here in September, I'll be going on the Carnival Horizon. I'll be talking about that. That'll be next week. And a week from today, I'll be on the Carnival Horizon. That's gonna be great. Hey, Sam B, I see you there. Welcome in. Let's see what Tony has to say. I was not a huge fan of the Radiance, mainly due to bland and not very warm food in the MDR buffet. Guys and Shacks and Deli Pizza were excellent, though. Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to talk about today. I've mentioned it in past live streams and past discussions with people on Facebook and that kind of thing. I feel like everybody should just kind of temper their expectations a bit. Not saying that you didn't, Tony, but I'm just saying in general, I think that if you have, and you know, there's people that go on and say, "Hey, it's fine. I don't see a problem with it." I thought it was okay. Was it bland or was it not very warm? I guess. I don't know that I remember, but I'm not going to sit here and say it was great. But I think it's just you know, everybody has, I guess, different expectations. So I guess that's one of the things that we'll talk about. I did a little bit of a poll in my Facebook group and the Carnival Radiance Facebook group as well about food. We'll talk about that a little bit. Question: what's the one thing we cannot miss on the Panorama leaving in 3 weeks? Hey, Brian, welcome in. One thing you cannot miss on the Panorama. Well, I guess it depends on how adventurous you are and what you're looking to do. Hey, Gary, I see you there, brother. Can't wait to see you next week. Welcome in. I'll tell you, for me, I really enjoy doing the sky bike. That was like one big check off, because that was something that was unique to the Vista class. So doing that sky bike was high on my list. So if that's something that you or people that you might be cruising with are into, I would say definitely do it. If you're not afraid of heights, I would just, it was awesome. It was awesome. And it was great because it wasn't that busy when we went on it. And I got to go on it twice in a row because I think we had like an odd number in our group. So I got to do it 2 times, one, with 2 different people because of the odd number. And I loved it. It was really nice. Your legs will get tired. They got even more tired for me doing it twice in a row. But I would say that's a big thing. Of course, they have the ropes course on there. They have the ropes course on the Radiance as well, but that's fun as well. As far as the shows at the time, from what I remember, were really nice. I try to remember what the shows were. I'm sure they probably changed since then because this was October of 2021. The shows are definitely Comedy Club. Definitely is something else that you would, if you're into that kind of thing. I would definitely say try, grab that activity sheet or go on your Carnival Hub app and look at the activities for that week and just try to pick out as much as you can and do as much as you can. That's what I try to tell everybody. Do as much as you can that you physically can, because you can't be at 2 places at one time. So, but for me, the can't miss are definitely the sky bike and the ropes course. I enjoy my food, still carrying 7 pounds from it. I relate to Tony G. I'm not a fan of Carnival at all. And that's understandable. That's definitely understandable. It's definitely not for everybody, for sure. Hey, Sam B., how many does the Raiders decorate for Halloween? I'm going to Hawaii cruise from October 16th to the 30th. Sam, yeah, all of the Carnival fleet will decorate. They usually have that cool, I can't remember the name. There's a name for it, like this big old pumpkin dude in the atrium. I loved it. I went on the Halloween cruise on the Panorama, and I wish I could do it every year. We had such a great time. This year, unfortunately, I couldn't due to work restrictions. Unfortunately, it was blocked off because of some customer stuff that we had to do. But anyway, I would have loved to do the Halloween cruise again. So, but yes, they will definitely decorate for Halloween and do Halloween activities. They did a costume contest where they had multiple categories. They had like a younger kids and a small group, large group and stuff. A lot of fun, Sam. Yeah, I would definitely say you'll have a great time with that. Samuel, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Living for Ensenada on 926. Trying to build courage to walk to downtown. Some detailed directions advice would be very helpful. Your great videos cut your walking time to downtown. So, Samuel, that's an excellent question. Let me just tell you, I had this conversation with a few people privately on Facebook, etc. I don't. I ask everybody to do what you feel is best for you and what your comfort level is. I would hate, and whether it's going into Ensenada or going to someplace to eat or going to go shop someplace, I don't, everybody's kind of different. Everybody has different things. Like I tend to live life with the, something bad could happen to me walking across the street to go to the mailbox, that kind of thing. So that's just my mentality. I guess probably from being an ex-police officer, I just, you always are running into the face of danger while everybody else is running away. So I just have that mentality where it's not like I don't want to I don't want to say I'm reckless. When I say I'm fearless, but I'm not reckless, right? I know, like when I do some of those things at nighttime, like going and walking, like you've seen in some of my videos, walking into the outskirts outside of the tourist area and things like that. Would I do that in the evening time by myself? I don't know. I don't know that I would. But just recently where I took the DD ride service to talk with Phoenix and stuff. I couldn't walk there. I just wanted to video the ride service. Anyway, the long answer to your short question there is, so when you get off the ship, here's what I've told people recently. If you don't feel comfortable going into the main tourist area, tourist downtown area, if you will, there's the Malecon, the boardwalk. area that you could just walk up and down. They've got shops, they've got eating establishments. So maybe that's where you start. You just, you walk off the ship, and I have plenty of videos on this that you can watch and see. You walk off the ship, there's a sidewalk that'll take you to like a gate. Once you leave the port area, because there's somebody there that, kind of watches who goes in and out and checks your IDs. Once you leave that and make the left to go down the boardwalk area, you could just stay on that boardwalk, walk all the way to the end and walk all the way. It's a nice walk. Again, there's shops and food establishments along the way, and you could just stay there if that's what your comfort level allows. If you feel a little bit more daring, if you will, or courageous, you could walk into where the big flagpole circular area and walk in there, and there's a few little huts, and you can kind of feel it out. And then if you walk just outside there's a bunch of little I don't know, what do you want to call them, little areas where people pop ups and stuff like that, where people are selling churros and elotes and all these other different things. So again, you can maybe just gradually walk out, and then, so that's the first block. The next block up, if you make a left, you go and down into the main tourist area. And as you'll see in my last video that I put out, you'll see there's a lot of, and that was literally right after this whole thing with all these things going on my August 19th cruise. So that was August 21st when I was there. Again, my comfort level was, hey, I'm going to go, and and I interacted and discussed this with people there locally that I trust, and I felt like I was okay. So hopefully that helps, Samuel. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. My wife and I are already planning a race. Very nice, Brian, on the bikes. That's great. Yeah, the Radiance is going to Hawaii because the Miracle is going in the dry dock, Dina. So yeah, that's, man, the people that are going on the Radiance to Hawaii, and I haven't been on the Miracle, so I can't compare, but it's just a nice option to be able to take the Radiance all the way. Yes, as the Miracle is going to dry dock. Hey there, Meg. Welcome in, my friend. I wish I could go. I know that would have been a nice one to go on for sure. So, hey, Louise, thank you. You always have such kind words for me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I do. I really do appreciate it. Just supporting the California crew. Gotcha. Hey, Purple Queen, welcome in from New York City. Very nice. I took a shuttle to downtown, $4 round trip. Yeah, and thank you, Nurse Fembot, for pointing that out. So, there's the going back to Samuel's question. So if you didn't want to walk, there's also that so as soon as you walk right out of the off the ship, you'll walk out of the little port area, and just as you're walking out of the main dock area, I should say, because the port is large, once you walk out of the dock area, you're going to see a bunch of these, and you'll see that in my last video. I pointed out a bunch of large buses, and there's sometimes shorter shuttle buses. Well, those will take you into the downtown area. That's what Nurse Fembot's referring to here. It's $4 round trip. Again, and I've said this in my videos, and I've said this on my live streams. I just prefer to walk, but yes, you can absolutely take that into the tourist downtown area. Shay said, we went with a few others we met. We kept running into everyone from the ship. We had a great time. Everyone was cool. Oh, and it's an audit. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your detailed answer. An avid cruiser, but timid traveler. Your videos help. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's the thing. Listen, I appreciate you mentioning that. I know my videos, even in this live stream, I try to help out first timers or newer cruisers and stuff. And not saying that I don't care about people that have cruised for a long time or this and that, but a lot of people, unfortunately, sometimes they just think like, oh, I already know everything I need to know and stuff. But hey, I love having people that have cruised a long time. There's sometimes there are people that are just cruising the Radiance for the first time or cruising out of Long Beach for the first time. So I love interacting with everybody. I never want anybody to ever think that, I'm only here for the first timers or new cruisers. But thank you, Samuel. I'm glad you got what you needed out of that. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. All right. Excuse me. Today I'm going to kind of keep it short. So I'll go till 3 o'clock Pacific, my time. So I want to try to get through, but feel free to ask questions. I just kind of want to get through some of this before the trip stuff. Again, if you're watching this on the replay. So I've mentioned this in the past, but I think it's definitely well worth. Hey, Dave, I see you coming in there. Appreciate you coming in and being here. Pro tip, the Wi-Fi was amazing, says Tony. It's coming up. I see it on my other screen. Here it goes. Pro tip, the Wi-Fi was amazing between 9 and 3 p.m. on port days if you need to do stuff. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a little bit better because everybody's off the ship. It was honestly this last time around in general for me, and I even got the value plan. I didn't get the premium just because it was so bad for me in June. I was like, I'm not paying that amount and have it be terrible. And I should have asked for a refund. I did it. It was like whatever. But anyway, but the value plan was great throughout the trip. But yeah, definitely a good pro tip. All right. So speaking of tips, so before your trips, for you that are sailing for the first time or sailing and sailing post pandemic. So yeah, you might be not a first time cruiser. You may have done a ton of cruises in the past, but if you're cruising for the first time post pandemic, I said pre, right? Post pandemic, even though the pandemic's still here, but you know what I mean. Post restart, right? Anyway, so make sure to join Facebook groups if that's your thing. If you're really into the social media aspect of it and wanting to meet other people, like somebody just joined a Facebook group that I'm in, and they said, "Oh man, this is awesome! That there's all these people here that are going to be on my cruise, and I get to interact with them." And that's the beauty of it. If you're a social person, you want to meet other people, especially if you're cruising solo. I would highly, if you're watching this and you're a solo cruiser or planning on cruising solo, do it and join those Facebook groups. It's a great opportunity to again interact with some people, build some friendships, and then they also will have at times, not all of them, I've noticed that lately some groups are not doing it, but hey, that is what it is. But you'll have a meet and greet scheduled. Sometimes they'll have like a shot glass exchange. They'll have a what else? Bar crawls, slot pulls, all these type of things. So yeah, it's a great way to meet and interact with people. So definitely join those Facebook groups. Not only just your roll call groups for your specific sailing, but also ones for the specific cruise ship. So the Carnival Radiance cruise page. If you're going on the Horizon, the Carnival Horizon, there's I think multiple Carnival Horizon pages that I saw. So yeah. Tony says, we had 30 people attend the Facebook meetup. It was amazing and worth the effort. That's great to hear, Tony. Yeah, it's definitely when you get a nice large group coming to those things, it's a great way for people to build those relationships early on. And they're usually at the beginning of the cruise, allowing you time to continue to interact with these people that you meet. So that's great to hear. Nurse Fembot said, I meet so many great people. Everyone is smiling and the energy is fantastic. Naturally, there are those who can't be pleased no matter what, but most were amazing. And that's a very great point, Nurse Fembot. I think for me, what I love about cruising, and again, there's always exceptions to every rule, and that's normal. But for the most part, I feel like the people are just there, very, very friendly, willing to sit and communicate. I've used an example many times when we went to Maui, to a resort in Maui for just a couple's vacation, my wife and I and two other couples. I mean, the six of us interacted with each other while we're in the pool and stuff, but everybody else just kind of kept to themselves. And I thought that's weird for being somebody coming from the cruise life, right? You're thinking, wow, that's really weird. Why aren't people like interacting with each other? Everybody was in their like little groups. So, and we tried our best. We interacted with a few people. We got to meet some lady that actually built or designed the pools there and stuff like that. But yeah, that's one thing I do love about cruising is I think for the most part, everybody's very happy and enjoying themselves. Cruising Scene, I see you're here. Hello. JP Travels, I see you're here as well. Hello. Honey, I know you're a Carnival cruiser. Have you considered any other cruise lines? Sam, yeah, people have asked me that. I'll be honest with you. I enjoy Carnival. I enjoy their vibe. I can't really compare them to other lines and say one's better or worse or whatever. Will I try other lines in the future? Yeah. I mean, my first goal was to try to get to Platinum, and I got there back in May. So that was kind of my thing. It's like, oh, I want to get to Platinum before I try any other cruise lines. At this point, the deals that I get from Carnival are way too good to pass up. So unless Royal, NCL, or any of these other cruise lines give me the same type of deals, I just don't see myself cruising any other cruise line in the near future, but that could change. I do want to go to Coco Cay, which is Royal's private island. So obviously I'd have to cruise Royal to do that. So, but that would be something I would do with my wife and kids for sure. I don't know that I would do that on my own, but yeah. So have I considered it, Sam, to answer your question? Yes. I just don't know when that will happen, especially if I continue getting these amazing deals from Carnival. Hani, share with your audience about the check-in time, Eastern time. Oh, yes, thank you very much. So we can take a drink real quick. Okay, so what Luis is talking about is if you are on Pacific time, or even Central or Mountain, etc. It doesn't matter. It all applies. So the actual check-in times, so that for where you get your arrival appointment and all that stuff, is on Eastern time. So Miami headquarters, Carnival headquarters time, Eastern time. So for example, right now I'm in Arizona, so it's kind of weird. We're on Pacific time now. We'll be on Mountain time in November, but so I can check in at 9 p.m. on the night before. So if my check-in is on, let's say the 5th, right, tomorrow. So like tonight, I could at 9 p.m., which would be midnight Eastern time, I could check in for my cruise. So that's just a good way to make sure that you get, it's kind of an advantage for people that, I know Eastern folks, it's really late for them to stay up. Some do, especially if they really, really want to make sure they get a good appointment time, if they're really wanting to get that early times. But what I found is if you're platinum and diamond, it seems like that you're getting good time. Well, you get to check in 2 days early, so there's that, right? So if you're platinum, diamond, or suite guest, you can check in 2 days before everybody else. Everybody else is 2 weeks, 14 days, and then for platinum, diamond, suite guest is 16 days. So to Luis's point, yes, that the night before you can check in based on your time zone in relation to Eastern time. Hope that makes sense. If you still have questions, let me know. MSC and Virgin will honor status. Okay, I knew that about MSC, but I heard they only honor it, Nurse Fembot, and then correct me if I'm wrong, they only honor it your first cruise, which is fine, which is cool. But again, it boils down to, will they give me the same deals that I get, on these cruise ships with the onboard credit, and on Carnival, excuse me. So that's the other thing. And Virgin, I just heard that recently that so if you know, or if somebody else knows, is it the first time only like MSC, or will you come in at that status with Virgin? So I'm curious on that, but thank you for pointing that out. Party on the Sea, what's going on, buddy? I'm going to see you next week, right? You're going to be on that cruise on the horizon. Looking forward to it. I did the same thing too, honey. I recently became platinum back in February, so now I have a royal book soon. Yeah, that was my ultimate goal, was to get to platinum. Just because. I mean, it's not like there are some pretty cool perks. Don't get me wrong, but it was just something. It's like wanting to achieve a goal, right? So again, I would consider it if all of a sudden there's a great deal out there. I would definitely consider it. I'm not going to pay more to go on another ship just to go on another ship, I guess, at the end of the day. Alarm is set for 8:45 p.m. our time, 9:22. Very good. Question: does the ratings feel different during wintertime when more people are inside? Tony, that's a great question. So I first sailed it in January. My buddy sailed it before me in December. And in watching like the videos he did out on the deck parties, the one he did in late December, the deck party was more well attended than I expected, especially considering like when I went in January and February, where it was a little cooler at night. There was less people out there at the deck parties. So so you're going to have more people inside, right? To your point. So it's going to seem a little bit busier. But again, it's kind of a hard comparison because they weren't cruising at the capacities they were at that time. So I can't really tell you. So it didn't seem that bad, even though more people were inside. It didn't seem that bad. And honestly, even these sailings that I've been on recently, yes, it's been super packed out on the decks and this and that, but I didn't feel it was as bad unless you go to the shows and things like that, like the comedy show. Yeah, you'd have to try to get there early and all that. But in all fairness, I didn't, even now sailing at the higher capacities, I didn't feel it was that bad, right? To go get food and things like that. Again, just my honest opinion. I have my reminder set with 2 alarms, Renee. Hey, welcome in, Renee. Thanks for being here. 2 alarms. Very good. Is 10:30 a good time? That's the one I got. Yeah, 10:30 is a good time. And again, I haven't cruised out of Miami. Let me correct that. I haven't cruised out of Miami recently. Last time I cruised out of Miami was June of 2019. So I don't know post restart if they are how things are. But I can tell you in Long Beach, man, super smooth. The earlier the better. You get in there. They don't mind just sitting around and chilling. They start in Long Beach. They start the embarkation process anywhere between 11 and 11:30. On my past cruises, it's been consistently closer to 11:30, but on this last one in August, right at 11, they started the boarding process, which was really nice. Sam B says, last time I cruised the Panorama, and it was my first cruise, we got a late check-in time at 2:30 p.m. and got on the ship late. How can we get an early check-in for the Radiance? So if you're not Platinum, Diamond, or a Suite guest, Sam, I would say, and I'm guessing you're maybe on the West Coast, but I would say try to get on the ship. Or, say it again. Try to get on the check-in process online like as soon as possible. So I'm going to share a little tip here. I'm sure people are going to see this on the replay, but and I hope not many people. This is one of the few times I hope a lot of people don't watch this or hear this part on the replay because I don't want everybody doing this. But when you check in, Sam, I'm gonna help you out here for a second. So when you check in, there's an option to skip at the bottom, like, skip for later or something like that. So like it's asking you all these different things for your passport information, et cetera, et cetera. Just do skip, and go all the way to the end. Get your check-in time. You'll get your it'll say check-in time, blah, 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 received, and da-da-da, and then go back and fill everything in. Don't try to fill everything in as you go, or it's going to take you too long, and you may lose out your check-in time or earlier one. So there's my tip to you. You're welcome. Just again, I don't want to put that out there to everybody. Obviously, it's going to be on this live show, and people can watch it on replay. But because if everybody's doing it, then we lose out. But anyway, it is what it is. So 8:45 login and ready to go for 9 p.m. Hey, Miss Martin, welcome in. I board the Radiance tomorrow, first solo. Well, that's awesome. I did my first solo in January. It was a different experience just because I had just started, I hadn't done any Radiance videos and stuff, but since then I've done a ton and a lot of people recognize me. So this time when I did it in August, it was a lot different. Like I never really felt alone unless I wanted to be, right? But there's always people to talk to or hang out with or chit chat with. But in January, it was a different experience. It wasn't terrible. I was vlogging and this and that for me. So it wasn't a bad thing, but yeah, I mean, it was, I'm going to be doing October solo, but there'll be people that, again, because like Shay, and others that I've met through this Facebook community, through the YouTube community, there'll always be people to chit chat with when I want to. So did you join a roll call group for your day? Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to ask. Check for a meet and greet. Check for a meet and greet. Yeah, exactly, for sure. Hey, thanks, Mods, for grabbing that. I see Gary got it. Thank you, Gary. See you Saturday, honey. Yes, see you then. Taken care of. Thank you, Meg. Been real smooth last 2 times out of Miami. Okay, yeah, that's right, Gary. You've been out of there. So when have they been boarding, for those that might be here that because of the Horizon, when did they start the boarding process there? Like I said, usually it's been between 11 and 11:30 at Long Beach. Meg's on him. Looks like you found a delete button for that. Yeah, exactly. It happens. Question, was reaching Platinum what you expected? I'm Carnival, only need 14 more days to reach Platinum. Yeah, that's a good question, Samuel. So yeah, it was nice. It was because I knew what the perks were, right? I knew what the perks were, but I'll tell you, like I knew I was kind of excited about the laundry, even though I do these shorter cruises, so it's not a big deal. But I love the idea of having the laundry option, especially if I do like this cruise coming up. Will be a little bit longer. It's 6 days, but I'm going to be in Miami 2 days prior to the cruise, so I'm going to have a little bit of laundry built up. So that was a nice option, a nice perk. I'll tell you another thing that's been really nice is that Platinum and Diamond line and guest services. For those of you that have sailed a long time, know that those lines can get really, really long. And when you want to just go up and talk to guest services, being able to walk right up. I mean, usually there might be one person, maybe two in front of you, but not having to wait in a long line. So yes, it was definitely what I expected, and I'm glad I did it. I have no regrets. And that was the thing. Like I was planning on sailing Carnival no matter what, so why not try to achieve Platinum? And it didn't take very long. So you're very welcome, Sam. Thank you. Good tip to know. You're welcome. See, there you go. That was the benefit of showing up today, just for that tip. If nothing else, just for that tip, right? So, hey, Shelly Lou, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Wilmina says, Wilhelmina, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, WL, welcome in. How can you tell if it'll be a full ship? There's really no real way to be able to tell, quite honestly. I know some people try to gauge it off of how many people are in a roll call group, but if you think about it, some of these roll call groups, you have like 100 and some odd people when the ship has like 3,000 some odd people, so you can't really gauge it on that. Just know, especially during the summertime, anytime when the kids are off of school, that are not school, so summertime, spring break, winter breaks, things like that, holidays, Thanksgiving, things like that, just expect that the ships are going to be a lot busier or full. So, there's no way to tell. When you get on the ship, you can go up to guest services and ask them what the guest count is, but yeah, there's no way to tell in advance, honestly. 11 o'clock. Oh, nice. Okay, so it's about the same. You're welcome, Samuel, for sure. Sambi, I live in Arizona like you. Oh, cool. Very cool. Zoni. We'll be driving to Long Beach for and parking for the 14-day cruise on the Radius. Last time we parked at the terminal. Any recommendations on parking somewhere else? Well, I haven't. I would tell you, if you're going to be. Are you staying in a hotel? No, you say you're driving in. Are you driving in the night before? I know, for example, like when we did the back-to-back, me and my friends, and then when we did the panorama. So I'll tell you, I stayed at the Hotel Maya in March. I stayed at the DoubleTree by Hilton San Pedro in October when I went on the panorama. If you could stay at one of those hotels and do the park and fly option, I think that's a good way to go if you can. And even if you weren't intending on getting a hotel, like if you're trying to drive in the same day, Sam, it might be, if you do the math, it might be beneficial, and you end up paying, like for both when we went to the Hotel Maya or when I did the hotel, the San Pedro one, they the price of hotel was like, I don't know, less than $100, and then the rest of it covered what I may have paid for parking or would have paid less. So and the Hotel Maya is a little bit on the expensive side, so maybe look at the DoubleTree by Hilton San Pedro, which is in the San Pedro area. So I had to take an Uber. They don't have a shuttle. They have a shuttle to go to the Royal and NCL port, the San Pedro port. So you'll have to take an Uber. So you have to figure that into the cost. But look at the cost of staying at DoubleTree by Hilton San Pedro, because if you get the free parking, it might be worth it, especially on such a long cruise. So take a look at that, and but other than that, no other parking somewhere else that's going to be significantly cheaper. There are, but if you factor in Uber and this and that and everything else, it's roughly about the same. Gotcha. Excuse me. Oh, Rachel Watkins, or is it Rochelle? Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. I'll be on the horizon with you next Sunday. It's my first cruise, so I'm super excited. Very cool. Well, hopefully you see what I look like. I don't know what you look like, but if you see me on the ship, please come up and say hello. It's your first cruise. That's exciting. I love it. I think people, have asked me just kind of privately, like why the focus like on the first-time cruisers and new cruisers. And here's what I'll say. I think it's really important. See, I do this because I love cruising. Like some people thought this is my job. Just so you know, this is not my job. I have like a full-time job that pays my bills. This does not pay. And I do get some money from YouTube, but all that's being donated. I'll talk about that later. But anyway. But I love cruising. I do this because I love cruising, and I'm really passionate about growing the cruise family. So I want people that are cruising for the first time to have the best experience possible. I can't control what happens on the ship. I know some people have come back from the ship and said, the food wasn't great, or this wasn't that great, or this, that. And unfortunately, I really wish I had Carnival's ear, right, that I could go to and say, hey, guys, I go to guest services and I've talked to them and said, hey, this is the feedback I'm hearing from people through Facebook or through my YouTube channel. And they're receptive, but they're like, yeah, well, they need to do the surveys to the corporate offices. And I'll be honest with you, I love Carnival, don't get me wrong, But the one area that they're very, and I don't know if Royal and CL and others are the same way, the communication is terrible. They rely on John Hill way too much, in my opinion, and John can only do so much. He and his associate Jacinta can only do so much, and they can only answer so much, maybe based off restrictions. So I just feel like I wish, and this is probably the way by design, right? Because of shareholders and things like that, they have to be really careful. I just wish there was a better conduit between us. Like I sent a letter or an email to guest care about trying to find out about the half price off, the happy hour for Embarkation Day and stuff like that. I messaged John twice. He told me to look into it. No response. I sent him an email to guest care. No response. It's those type of things are kind of irritating, whatever. But anyway, I'm going to do my part to try to help everybody have the best experience possible. That's all I could do. All right, Sam. Yes, we'll be staying at a close hotel the night before. Okay, does the hotel include parking? Have you looked into that? And if it's not too late, I don't know if you got a great rate at that hotel, but maybe compare it to the ones I mentioned or any other ones that have free parking, and look into that as well. Rachel, a whole bunch of us. Yeah, so yeah, Gary, thanks for reminding me. So I'm traveling to this one and joining a group of 50 some odd people that are going to be on that group cruise on the horizon. So yeah, he's right. There's going to be a big group of us there. Does the pricing for cruises change based on your loyalty level? Is it significant from a red level? No, I've also heard from people, and I don't know if there's any science behind this, but people have said that, when you get to platinum and above, you get less deals and that kind of thing. I don't know. I've only been platinum since May, so I'm not really sure. Sorry, I'm back. No worries, Lindy. Thanks for coming back. So I don't know because I've only been platinum for such a short time. So but I do know that a lot of people, that are like first time or newer cruisers, not so much first time, but newer cruisers, they try to entice them back with some really, really sweet deals. And of course, if you play in the casino, you're kind of prepaying for your cruise. I know a lot of people say, but you'll definitely get a lot of good offers. And you don't have to play a ton. Compared to people I know, I don't play a lot in the casino compared to other people, and I still get pretty good sweetheart deals. So yeah. No, maybe some rum. Yeah. So, hey, what's going on, Linda? We appreciate you being here. Oh, Donzo. Oh, I was wondering. I was like, okay, I've seen your name a few times, and I was like, the picture looks familiar, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now that I make the connection. Hey there, welcome. So this is what I love about the cruising community. So I met Linda and Donzo on the Panorama on the Halloween cruise. Really cool people that I'd watch my videos and stuff. But this is what I'm talking about. I love the connections and hello back. Thank you. So I just love that connection. And that's the thing. Like I feel now that through this YouTube channel, through these Facebook groups, I've gotten the opportunity to make really good friends that become part of my, what I like to consider, cruise family. And I mentioned Shay earlier, and people like that. It's really, really awesome. And for people to remember you. No, exactly. Thank you, Gary. What do you recommend to do for getting good rates? Yeah, so I mentioned that earlier. You may have said that right afterwards. Is the casino. I would tell you that all of my good offers that I've been getting are because I play in the casino. And I'll be honest with you. When the first few offers that I got were right after the Panorama. That was in October 2021. It took about 2 months to get the offer. So here's my suggestions. And again, there's no science behind this, but I would say play a little bit in the casino. I think I spent a couple $100 on that 7-day cruise. So I spent a few $100, and the other thing, so it was taking forever. Like I was like, oh, where are these deals? Where are these deals? I had cruises booked ahead of time. And then I thought to myself, well, if I have all these cruises booked, what incentive does Carnival, or any cruise line, right, for that matter, what incentive do they have to send me any deals if I'm already pre-booked, right? Like right now I'm booked all the way out to February. But the difference is I'm booked on these deals. So I now will not book ahead until they give me the good offers. And then once I get those good offers, then I'll book. And I'll only book. So like the one that I usually get is like with $500 onboard credit. So and that gives me up to 2 that I can book at that rate, at that code. So I'll book the 2 and that's it. I'll stop booking, even though I know I want to book more, but I'll stop. And that's what's worked for me. So Sam, I would try that. I would play a little bit in the casino, and I would not book too far ahead unless you really, really have to. Don't book too far ahead because again, what incentive do they have to give you offers? So hope that helps. Put in a 20 and just sit there. Right, Shay? Exactly. Yeah, so you don't even have to play. I mean, it's really more about how long you play. And I think part of the thought is the longer they have you there, the more that you'll go, okay, I'm gonna put in a little bit more, put a little bit more. And eventually, even if you win, they'll get it back. Trust me, I know that because that happened to me on the last cruise, not this August one, but the one in June. Like I was playing and I was winning, and then I obviously gave most of it back. But that's just for me, that's part of the entertainment. So I get casino offers of Carnival. I've only sailed once with them. Yeah, and it's funny because my wife still gets a ton. She hasn't cruised since the restart, and even when we used to cruise together, before, like on the past cruises, she played maybe like $100, but she still got it. So yeah, I mean, I would say start as low as possible. Try the Shea method of $20. Maybe don't go past 100 if that's a little too much or whatever, and give that a try and see what happens. So, but yeah, you're right, Lindy Lou. My wife gets them, and like I said, when we used to go on these cruises, she'd probably spend like $100 or so in the casino because I'd see it in the account summary, and no big deal. Question: what's playing a little bit in the casino? Well, that's the thing. I say play a little bit. I bet, I guess, money wise, to to the point I was making earlier, it could be as little as $100, $200. I think part of it is how much time you spend in there. Obviously, if you get to 1,000 points, they'll give you this thing called I forgot the name. There's something like a bounce back. They'll give you a bounce back offer that's really, really good. Like I got one, but I can't use it because I'm already booked out. See, I'm already booked out all the way to where it's limited. So like it expires in February. It was like $49 for per person for the cabin, but I couldn't use it because I'm already booked all the way out to when it expires. So yeah, I'm in Vegas. That's how we get our free drinks. Yeah, definitely get free drinks in Vegas. So okay, cool. We got about 19 minutes, so let me just kind of go through here and so I talked about Facebook groups. Linda says, I'm going on a Radiance 3-day. What kind of party will they do? White party or 80s? The 3-day, right now, they're doing the 80s party and a white night party. They stopped doing the mega deck party, so it looks like they switched it and started doing the white night instead. And I think, depending on when you're going, Linda, it may switch again. I know that Dion, the current cruise director, he put out this schedule, if you will, of these parties for August and September. So if you're going in October and beyond, it could change. But as of right now, it is the white party and 80s party. The white party is on the same night as Elegant Night, which is Saturday evening. And the 80s party is on Sunday evening when we get back from Ensenada. I find in my local casinos, it's not the amount of money, it's the time spent playing. And I think it's the same, Lindy Lou, for the cruise ship. I've heard that from many people, that it's more about the time played than as much as the and maybe they think also that you get thank you. All right, so the Facebook group, that they'll get their money back the longer you're there through either playing or through drinks, buying drinks, especially if you don't have the drink package. Tony G says, another tip, if you're not an early riser, take earplugs. The PA system in the corridor was really loud, like a Dion alarm clock at 8. Yeah, Tony, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point. And somebody said that they heard the messages in their room. And I wanted to tell them, I think it's because it's so loud, it sounds like it's in your room, but it's actually, the one in the corridor. And you're right. So if you're not an early riser, I would definitely tend to wake up easily. I would, and not just the Dion alarm clock, as you said, but people walking and going and, hey, wait for me, hey, hang on, screaming in the hallways, and it is what it is. I mean, listen, you're in a floating hotel, floating city, if you will. We can't expect everybody to just have the same schedules and all that. So it's just part of it. So yes, earplugs definitely good tip. So yep. So Shay will be changing outfits. Can't trust eating in white. Yeah. What messages are they playing in the morning? Typically, they're telling you what's going on for the day. What activities they have, like early morning shows, that kind of thing. So typically, they're just they're just messages of or like when you're in port, port information. Hey, we're going to be disembarking or debarking, excuse me, at this time, that kind of thing. So it's just messages of letting you know what's going on. But typically, unless it's an emergency, only the emergencies are supposed to come through the speaker in your room. Everything else is supposed to be on the speaker on the outside. But if you're near, especially if you're really near one of the speakers on the outside, yeah, you're going to hear it for sure. So. Okay, so I talked about Facebook groups. The other thing, obviously, maybe my opinion is a little biased, but watch YouTube videos. And I'm not saying just watch mine. Watch. There's many people that make YouTube videos, and I would definitely tell you. Looking forward to meeting you. Hey, what's going on? Welcome. Has it started yet? I think they're live. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that starts at 3:00. So yeah, that's why I wanted to kind of wrap up before 3, so I don't overlap with my friends over at midlife. I agree, 20G earplugs are a necessity for me. Very light sleeper. Okay, so again, about the YouTube videos, don't want to dwell on it. Just try to watch those YouTube videos and get some ideas there. The other thing I would tell you is get familiar with the Carnival Hub app or download it, because you're not going to see anything, but that comes later. But also the Have Fun, Be Safe protocols. And I'll drop the link in the chat here as well, so you guys have it. This is really important. A lot of people ask a bunch of questions in relation to the vaccine and testing requirements. And I think it's kind of gelled out a little bit, but there's always going to be little changes here and there. Do not rely on Facebook groups. Do not rely on YouTube videos. I mean, even though I make them and stuff like that, I avoid these type of videos because things are constantly changing. This is definitely an area where I agree with John Hill and Carnival. Get it from this source. Do not get it from other sources, because there's a good chance that might be wrong. And if you go to the cruise port and say, I heard it from certain YouTube channel, I heard it in this Facebook group, that's not going to save you. That's not going to help you. These Have Fun, Safe, Be Safe protocols that I just dropped in the chat, that is where you need to be looking. Are you going on a cruise in November? Yeah, I'm on the Radiance November 11th. So hopefully you guys are on the November 11th. That would be cool. That'd be an awesome, that'd be an awesome surprise if you guys are on the November 11th Radiance cruise. Check out the Carnival Help page. I'm going to drop that link in here for you guys as well. Sorry for those of you that are watching this on the replay. I'll try to put these. I'll put them in the description of the video. And if I forget, remind me in the comments. Say, hey, what was that? What were those links you were talking about? So, but I'll try to remember to drop them in the description. But anyway, so those are the 2 links for those of you, again, watching on the replay. If I don't have them in the description, remind me in the comments, and I'll be happy to provide it to you. But that help file, again, very important. This is information coming straight from Carnival, so definitely good to get to know those 2 links. I mentioned downloading the Carnival Hub app. It's going to be a lot more difficult if you try to do it on the ship, depending on your internet, on your phone and stuff like that. So just do it beforehand, download the app, and then you'll have it ready to go. Let's see here. Thank you for all the tips. Can't wait to say hi to you in person next week. Oh, same here. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad that that you're going to be on that cruise. I look forward to meeting, obviously I'm going with 50 some odd people, but most of these people I've interacted with, so I'm really looking forward to meeting them, but I'm also looking forward to meeting some new people. So I'm definitely looking forward to meeting you. So yes, you'll definitely see me around the ship. I am the type, I've told other people, I'm usually go. I think this last cruise was the first time where I actually chilled more than I normally do. I did a lot more hot tub time, again, because it was a solo cruise, and I was like, I'm going to just kind of take advantage of it. So I spent a lot of time in the hot tub, watched a few dive-in movies and things like that. But typically, you'll just see me like the Tasmanian devil going around the ship. So looking forward to meeting you as well. And you're very welcome for all the tips. I'm also going on the November 11th Radiance and the Facebook, roll call group. It'll be my second solo at that point. Very cool. So we'll get a chance to meet in person. Looking forward to that. I'll be hosting the meet and greet for that one. So definitely, hopefully you'll be there. Use Verify if available. And I'll tell you, for me, so does that mean you're not going to be on that one on November 11th, Linda? Bummer. Um, use Verifly. And yeah, if it's available and you want to, I'm not here to tell people not to use it. I just personally, if those that ask me, I usually say I don't. I did it twice. I didn't see a benefit for me. Again, this is my personal opinion. I didn't see a benefit for me. It took me the same amount of time to get through with Verify as it did with just having my documents with me. And that's when you had to have your, COVID test and all that stuff. But definitely an option if you want to use it for sure. I use Verify. They still ask for boarding card, passport, and vaccine card check-in twice. So that's the thing. Your boarding pass is not on it. Good point, Tony. Boarding pass isn't on it. You need a printed copy because they don't have the technology to scan your phone. So you still have to have your boarding pass printed. So if you don't bring your printed boarding pass, they're going to print it out for you, and you're still going to have to use it because they stamp it. Now they're stamping it twice. So you still have to have your passport exactly and your vaccine card. A vaccine card can be uploaded to the phone. But again, I put everything in my little clipboard, have it all ready. And what happened was I was still printing everything out because I wanted to make sure I had a backup just in case it didn't work or whatever. So that was my thing. I'm not trying to poo-poo on Verify. I didn't see it giving me any big advantage, unfortunately. Good for you, Miss Martin. After my first in July, I'm booked for 4 more every 3 months. Yeah. So sad, bum, going on the 25th. Oh, man, I was really hoping you'd come back and say the 11th. Oh, well. Well, I'll be back on there. If you do get an opportunity to go, I'll be back on there December 2nd. I'll be back, and that's going to be with a large group of people, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be back on there January 6th and February 24th. Now, please check with me if you're planning on being there and thinking, oh, I'm going to see, because my work schedule has changed. Like my August cruise had to be switched. My work schedule is just kind of crazy right now, so I knew that could change. I'm trying not to, especially the December one, but yeah, so anything could happen. But that's the current plan. I just answered that question. You may have just not caught up yet. I'm surprised Carnival still makes people print boarding passes with Sony. Yeah, I know. And I asked them when I went there, and they just said, "Yeah, we don't have the capability of scanning electronically." And that's not just at Long Beach. That's, I guess, fleet-wide. I talked to my friends that are that work at the Cape Canaveral terminal, at the Tampa terminal. Same thing, not just Long Beach. So, yeah. And a lot of people will tell you, and I can't disagree with them, that Carnival tends to be a little behind. A lot of people have asked them, hey, can you do the wristbands? Personally, I like the sale and sign cards, but people have asked them, are you ever planning on going to the wristbands, the electronic wristbands, things like that? Even the Hub app, I feel like, and again, I 22 years in this software world, I feel like it could be so much better. It's great, don't get me wrong, but you wish that there were certain things that they would be able to do in there that other cruise lines do. So yeah, they just tend to be a little bit behind. But I think a lot of that just because they're so large, and yeah, it is what it is. What do we got? 8 minutes. Let me go here. Okay, so I mentioned to others, some people have asked me about travel insurance. In the past, anytime I cruise with my family, wife and kids, I've always got it. I'm glad that I've had it in the past. There was twice. When my girls were younger, 2 of my girls, when they were younger, we had to use the emergency room on the ship. And I'm glad, that I had it. Typically you would still, even if you have it or you have your own insurance, check with your health insurance to make sure they cover you for any issues that happen while you're abroad on the cruise ship or any of the cruise ports. Like in this case, I had to pay for the emergency room, but I got reimbursed. So, it wasn't a huge deal. Get small bills for tipping at the ports and on the ship. So before the cruise, unless you want to wait in line and guest services, especially if you're not platinum, diamond, or suite guest and don't want to wait in those long lines, because a lot of people are doing the same thing, going and getting small bills. One little pro tip is that if you have if you use those the kiosks where you can see your account summary, they have a bill changer there. I have a video on it as well, but they have a bill changer, and you can make a 20 into 2 10s, a 10 into 2 5s. You just can't go down to singles. So if you need singles, you need to do that at guest services or prior to getting on the ship. So I would highly recommend, if nothing else, if you need ones, try to do it off the ship so you don't have to wait in those long lines. at guest services, especially right before getting like the day of, like getting off at the port or the night before. You'll see a long line there. All right, purchase your Wi-Fi, cheers, bubbles, etc. before you cruise. You'll pay more when you get on the ship. So if you can, definitely try to pre-purchase those items that you know that you're going to get before, so you don't have to pay more. How does the drink package work? Can I get a drink as soon as I get on the ship, or I have to go to the cabin and get my sail sign card? No, actually, Pedro, great question. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. So in Long Beach, I'm assuming, sorry, I'm making an assumption here, because I know Texas and one other place you can't use your cheers package right away, from my understanding. But in Long Beach, you can use it right away. When you're a port, you got to pay a port tax. It's pretty minimal, but you can use it right away using your boarding pass. Another time where you have to use your boarding pass, we were just talking about. You use it when you're going through, they stamp it, etc. But when you get on the ship, until you get your sail sign card, you can use your boarding pass to buy your to get your drinks, and they can look everything up and see that you have the cheers package, etc. So that's what you would do. There, I think I answered it. Okay. 5 minutes. Okay. So check in for your cruise 14 days before your boarding, and 16 days if you're platinum, diamond, or suite guest, and that's when you get your arrival appointment as well. So just a couple things I want to, and I'll probably end with this. So a couple things that I want to point out. So when you have your boarding pass, you'll see your arrival appointment time. So for example, it could be like 10 to 10:30 for your appointment time. Now, if you get there a little earlier, they may let you in. If they already have kind of started the check-in process, they may let you in. They may not. If it's really busy, they may tell you come back during your appointment time. If you come later, like this last time, I was a little bit later than my appointment time. Not like, I think it was 10 to 10:30, and I showed up at 10:35 or something. I don't know. Anyway, it was not a big deal, So if you're a little bit later, so again, for the Port of Long Beach, 3:30 is the absolute dead, like drop dead time. So you cannot board the ship after 3:30. So do not get there later than 3:30. I know that the cruise ship leaves at 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever it is. But do not be later than 3:30. You're going to be very disappointed. So on there, it'll also show your boarding zone, and that's when they start boarding. They'll say, first they'll invite the suite guests, the handicapped guests that need special assistance, and then they'll start boarding zones A01 through etc. So they'll start with A01, A02, etc., etc. So you'll see your boarding zone. When they call your boarding zone, that's when you'll go up for the boarding process. You'll also see your muster station on that boarding pass. That's where you go to muster. Again, on the Carnival Radiance, it's deck 4. So on deck 4, you'll either be on the port side or starboard side of the ship, and they'll help you. Once you get up to deck 4, there's Carnival employees everywhere. So you just tell them, here, I'm at this muster station, and they'll point you in the right direction. So very, very nice. Yep, bar as soon as you get on the Radiance. Cheers. But boy, do those port fees on drinks add up. Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. That's very true. If you buy multiple drinks while you're still at port, like a lot of people do. Yeah, and I'm not a huge drinker, so maybe that's why for me it's like not a big deal. I usually get, I used to always try to take advantage of that half price happy hour and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they do add up quickly when you're at port. Because if you get on that ship, let's say you're on there by noon, right? And it doesn't leave port until maybe sometimes 5 o'clock or so, right? So yeah, that's 5 hours of drinking. Those do add up. So good point, Samuel. Thanks for keeping me on my toes on that one. That's true. Start with the wine. Great, thanks. I was wondering what would happen if I show up earlier. I set my check-in time to 12 p.m. to give myself time, as I live 2 hours north away from the port and maybe traffic. Yeah, if you show up earlier, no big deal. Like I said, worst case scenario, you might have to wait a few minutes. But for the most part, they're pretty good and pretty accommodating, unless the lines are super long. I can tell you, for the Celebration Cruise in March, we had to wait outside and wait. There was no early boarding at all, so it was by groups and all that stuff. So, but that was like a pretty pack cruise. That's true. I started with the wine I brought. Oh, yeah, gotcha. Thanks for a great show, honey. Hope everyone has a good remainder. So thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Again, I'm going to be wrapping up here in just a couple minutes. Plus, drink fees also apply when you're at Catalina. Yes, yeah, because you're still in California. So yes, those port fees, those fees will definitely apply in Catalina. Good point, Tony. Thank you. Can I get the mustard drills doing this? Yes, and I highly recommend it. So I will end with this note. my note is, as soon as you get on, so everybody here, everybody that's going to watch this on the replay, get your mustard drill done as soon as you get on. I know it's like, especially if you're starving and you want to go eat, you know, if you're that's, it's literally a couple minutes. And most of you probably have seen them in my video. The mustard drill, it's literally just a couple minutes. So you get there, do your mustard drill, and then go eat and drink and be merry. So get that mustard drill done. If you're that starving and you need to get it, or if you want to go grab a drink first and walk to the, with your drink, you can walk around with your drinks, no big deal. Then take it and go to the mustard drill, but get that mustard drill done as soon as possible. You're welcome, Brian. Thank you for being in here. Carnival could go to medallions like Princess. Yeah, there's been that discussion, but I don't think they're doing it anytime soon. After 5 hours of drinking, you won't care about fees. Good point. Renee says, this has been great info. Thanks for all your advice and help. It's making my first cruise less stressful. Well, that's my goal, as I mentioned earlier, Renee, is to try to make it as stress-free as possible. Again, I can't control what happens on the ship. All I can do is help try to get you prepared for whatever you may or may not encounter on the ship. So you're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. As Martin says, since tomorrow's Labor Day, do you know if Carnival Radiance will have a fireworks show? That's a good question. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, because fires are one of the biggest things. I mean, they didn't have a fireworks show. I don't think they did one for 4th of July, from what I remember from people telling me. They didn't have one for the Celebration Cruise. I don't think they will have a fireworks show, to be quite honest. Have a freaking-tastic time. Absolutely. Thank you, Meg. Appreciate it. You're very welcome. Have safe travels to Miami. Thank you, Tony G. Do they verify if you do? Yes, they do. So that's the other thing. They'll use your boarding pass to scan to make sure that you've done the muster. And then they'll keep calling and wait. And, they won't leave until they've had everybody do their muster. So, yeah, they do verify, Sam, for sure. Captain is threatening to close the buffet because too many have skipped the muster. Yeah, I've seen them not allow drinks after 2 drinks, I think. If you haven't done muster, and I've seen them also stop food as well because of people not doing muster. So yeah, there you go. So thank you. All right, guys, I hate to wrap it up just because my friends are going live right now at 3:00. So I don't want to overlap with their live show. So I'm going to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for being here. I may or may not do another pop-up live between now and Thursday before I leave for the Carnival Horizon, or before I leave to Miami. I don't get on the Carnival Horizon until Sunday. So who knows? Stay tuned, please. I'll end with this. If you're not already connected to my channel, please feel free to do so. Or if not, if you don't want to turn on the notifications here, be connected with me on Facebook, either through my Facebook profile or through my Facebook group. And I'll announce when I do these pop-up lives, so that way at least you can pop in, because I want to try to do some between now and on the horizon. So if you want to stay in touch, please feel free to do so. I want to thank everybody again for being here. I appreciate you all. Have a great Sunday. We'll talk to you all.